Hi everyone, this is Rita Holmes, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I am here to bring you a video tonight of a fun film card that I like to do. I'm right now getting it in view on my iPad so I can see it. I think I need to move this over just a little bit so that you can see it, or I'm going to scoot my camera over a little bit. It's probably got moved a little bit, which, you know, that happens. But anyway, I'm here to bring you a card tonight. We're actually going to be making this middle card right here. It is called Slide and Lock Gatefold Fun Fold card. And why it's called a slide and lock is this is your lock right here. And you just have to move that up and open your card. And that makes a slide on it. And what this actually does is, well, as I get this back together, I always do it this way, just because it's easier on me. But that kind of holds your card down when you're going to give it to someone. Now, I did have a question that said that maybe a beginner stamper wouldn't think to move this up, which is okay, because if they took this card and opened it just like any other card, they can hold this and just open, and you have this open this way, which is, you know, what a lot of people would do if they didn't think about moving up and down. Okay, I also made a couple different samples. This one is using the stamp set Artfully Layered that's in the mini catalog, along with the, they're called Tropical Layer dies, and I use this one right here on the card, which goes with this stamp set. And then I use the DSP that goes with it, which is right here. And here's the pack of it, and it's called Artfully Composed, which has a lot of nice little leaf type images on it. This one right here you can actually cut out with these with the dies. And the good backgrounds are solid backgrounds that you can use. So there's all kinds in here that you can do things with. So that is the paper that we're using. This card right here is the paper from, it's called Daffodil Afternoon, that is in the Celebration catalog, which ends Monday. So February 28th actually is when it ends. And that just slides open. And I just put a message on the inside of this one. I didn't do anything fancy with it. But the only thing I stamped were the words. I did not stamp any of the, any flowers or anything. I used all DSP on that. So, and that is even the DSP here. I just picked out a area I wanted to use with the circles and stuff like that. So that one's that. This I used the Pierced Blooms that's in the annual catalog, the die cuts. This is the 21, 23, I think, colors of paper. It's a soft succulent. And then this one, when you slide it, you can't hold on to the top when you slide because it won't open. And I just put a flower on the inside. So there we go. That is our different cards. I'm going to lay these to the side. We are going to concentrate on this card. Here is my information if you need to take a screenshot of that. It's my February host code that lasts through Monday. And then I will have also my my March host code is right here. And it tells the dates. There's both of them. I already have them set up. It has my Facebook group, Stamp Crazy VIP, where I put on all of my PDFs. You can go over there and grab. This is the PDF for this card. And it also shows you how to make the lock mechanism. So, that is over at the Facebook group. It has my stamp store, ritaholmes.stampinup.net. It has my email and, of course, my YouTube address, which you should know if you're watching this video. So that is all of my information there. So we'll put this to the side. We'll just move it up here a little bit. I don't think I'll need it. Here's what we're going to be using to make the card today. We got a piece of Whisper White, I started to call that Basic White, 4 1/4 by 11. That is our base of our card. This goes on the inside. It's Calypso Coral, 5 1/4 by 4. This is a piece of Basic White that's 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. That's going to go right into the center of that. We have a die cut out of the Calypso Coral right here. We also have our 2 pieces of DSP that's measured 2 1/2 by 4. I do believe. I better make sure again, because finding my DSP that's on here. 2 1/2 by 4. I was right. I was looking at my directions, and that they will go on your card like this. So we have those cut. We have 4 that measures 3 by 3. This is what's going to make our lock mechanism right here. We also have a piece of Calypso Coral that measures 3 by 3. And then I have a piece of Whisper White, and I cut this one 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. I do think my directions might say 2 7/8, which you can do that too. Be a smaller border. I have this piece of Basic White. I want to say Whisper White tonight for some reason. It's 7/8 by 1 1/2. And that is for, or 1 3/4. 7/8 by 1 3/4, and that's for our little saying. So I've had this cut and laying here since Monday, but I had some stuff go on with my sister that I've had to take care of, and it's taken a lot of my time. She's in the hospital, and things aren't going real well, so I'm staying really busy with that. But I'm home tonight, taking a break, so I thought I'm going to stamp. I'm going to do my video. I'm just going to spend some time up here, down here in my craft area, and just do what I want to do. Okay, what we're going to do here, we're going to put our 4 1/4 by 11 piece of cardstock into our paper trimmer at 2 3/4, which is right here. And we're going to score that. And it's the light colored blade if you're using a Stampin' Up! Scoring or a paper trimmer. We're going to turn it over, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put this at 2 3/4, and we're going to score. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that out, and I'm going to fold both of those in. And I'm not putting my trimmer away because I want to show you what we're doing here. Okay, if you can see, both of my ends meet. I don't really care for that because we have to have room for our mechanism to slide up and down, a little piece like this. So what I'm going to do, and I'm doing this on the Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer because it's really easy to do on here, but you're going to cut a 1/16 of an inch off on each side. If you line, I'm going to get my little pokey tool out, that's what I call this little thing. If you line your paper up right here from the brown where the white starts, that's about a 1/16 of an inch. And I'm going to cut that off, okay? So we just got that lined up right along there. Got it even across the top. And I'm going to take my trimmer and I'm going to trim that little piece off. Now I'm going to fold my, actually, my little tip right here doesn't look like it got trimmed real well. So I'm going to take that back and trim off that little tip that was left on there. Then I'm going to show you another trick here in a minute. I'm going to fold that. And that looks like I have enough area for my mechanism. So I'm not going to trim this other one. It's not going to make a big deal. It's only 1/16 of an inch. If you still don't think you have enough room, you can do the same thing on the other side. Now, here's a little tip I learned, and I learned it from Lisa Curcio. I think she's the one that showed this. When your blade is not as sharp as it's supposed to be, and it leaves this little rigid edge where you've cut, just take and lay your cardstock down, take your bone folder, and run it across that, turn it over, and do it on both sides. I don't think she did it on both sides, but I do. And you can't even tell that that was there, where you've made that cut. You can do that. I did that on some die cuts too. You know how die cuts sometimes will have that. And I kind of did that on some die cuts. Worked really, really well. So I really want to thank her for that tip because it made life a lot easier. What I'm going to do right now, before I get started, I'm going to go ahead and glue my 2 pieces on here. Now when I cut this, they match. They don't have to match because your lock piece is going to be in front of that. That's up to you. So I'm going to take some glue. Let's make sure we get it working. And I'm just going to glue a piece on each side, kind of centering that as best I can. And then I'm going to put the glue on this side here. And we're going to have that front piece glued in, okay, on the front of our card. So I'm just going to kind of scoot that. And there we go. We got that in, and you really can't tell a big difference. I think I have glue on my fingers, like I always get glue on my fingers. I am also, I think I got it on here. See it right there? Well, we're going to be magically here and take my eraser and remove those marks. Good job. I'm going to go ahead and take this piece of Calypso Coral and I'm going to go ahead and put it on the inside because that's going to get that out of my way. Anything I can get out of my way, I'm like happy for while I'm working. And there we go. We're just going to center this in here. Okay, I'm going to turn that over and I'm just going to rub all of them. Make sure that that's down. Okay, we have that down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my smaller piece of Whisper White, or I want to say that all night tonight. That drives me crazy. My basic white that's going to go here. I'm going to take that and I'm going to take this piece here and I'm going to go ahead and stamp them. I'm going to need a piece of scrap paper because we'll be scrapping off a little, or stamping off a little bit. So, anyway, let's do this one first. And we're going to use this big leaf here. And we're going to use Calypso Coral. I had to stamp my ink pad the other night. It was so dry. I got it out and I couldn't even see ink on my stamp. I thought, how did it get that dry? But it did. So I am just going to ink those up. I'm going to lay this at an angle and I'm going to stamp my leaf. Give that a good rub right there. I have glue on that too. I have glue everywhere. And there's my leaf. We're going to let that dry a minute. And while we're doing that, we're going to take and we're going to stamp this one. So let's ink it up again. And now when I stamp this one, I'm going to stamp off first. I don't want it as dark. So I'm stamping off. And then I'm going to bring it over here and stamp. And there we go with that. So, and then I'm going to take this little piece here, because that's where I'm going to stamp the hay there. So I'm just going to ink it up. And we'll get all of our stamping done right here. Okay? So let's just stamp that in there. Hope my head's not in the way. And there we go. We've got that. So we're done with all of our stamping. We're done with this piece of paper. Get it out of the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Calypso Coral piece and I'm going to glue my piece I just stamped my little leaf on. I'm going to put that right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my leaf and I'm going to actually use my quickie glue pen that I got off of Amazon because it works really well on here. I will bring in this piece of paper back in case I get glue. But I'm just going to run this up like the center here. And then on the tips, I'll put some. Because I just want it to hold it down. I don't want it, it doesn't have to be glue all over the back of it. Just places that'll hold it down, okay? So I think we have that. Looks good. So now I'm going to take it and I'm just going to bring this in and add this to it. And if this is, looks pretty good though. I'm going to turn it over because I want to rub that because of that glue. I want it to stick real good because I didn't add a ton of it. So I know it's not going to squish out anywhere. But I wanted that to really hold that down. So let's put our lid back on it. I will take my little hey there sign and I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of it. I think I'm about ready to get a new pack of dimensionals out. So that's good enough there. I just put 2 of them on there. And I'm going to put that, that's going to go like that. So I'm going to put this at an angle down here, I think. I'll go ahead and let's glue this into the front, into the inside, and then we're going to make our mechanism. And the video is easier to follow than my written instructions because it's hard to write instructions how to make something like that, to get the wording just right. And you know, whoops, I'm going to go this way. So I am going to add this. And as long as you've got it centered pretty much in here, your mechanism, your lock, will hide it when you get your card all made. So we're just going to put that on there. Turn that over a minute. There we go. So there's that. Let's lay this up here and let's make our mechanism. We are going to get the paper trimmer out for just one more second. These are 3 by 3. Now you can just take and fold them in half, or if you want a good score line to fold, you can put them at 1.5 inches and score them. And you're only going to score 2. You don't score all 4 of them. That's a no-no. Now, if you need to cut this part down, you can. It's not going to hurt. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to fold these in half and I'm going to score them because I want them to lay kind of flat when I am gluing. Okay, when we put these on our other piece, they're going to go like this with our folds to the inside and they're going to touch when we put them together, okay? So we're going to bring in another white piece. You can use, if you're going to use colored cardstock on here, then use colored cardstock for this lock piece so it matches in with your card. It'll all blend in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on this solid piece of the 3x3, but I'm also going to hold that down and put some glue on the inside because I want these to really glue. You could use tear and tape, you can use your Stampin' Seal or Stampin' Seal Plus, but what I do here is I take that and I line it up on one edge, and to make sure that that's lined up on that edge, I kind of just sit it down and make sure that that's just all even down there. Then I'm going to take and I'm going to bring my other one in. I'm going to butt it up against the one I just did, matching it and putting that down. Okay, if I have any uneven spots, and we'll turn it over in a minute, we're going to see if anything's uneven on it, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to see if it's uneven, if there's something sticking out. I am also going to make sure that it fits this white piece really well. If you don't want it to fit end to end where it's bulky, you can take it on your paper trimmer and just trim 2 of the sides. That's what I do. After I get it on, if they're not meeting up real well, I just give them that little 1/16 of an inch, basically, and take that off of one side. And then I'll do the other side. And it's going to make it just a little bit thinner, or a little bit, I don't want to even say thinner. It's going to make it just a little smaller than your piece that you're putting on. And I'm taking my bone folder because my paper trimmer really does need a new blade. And I keep forgetting to put one on it until I'm doing something like this. Okay, here's what we have with this. This is now our mechanism, okay? See how we have that? Looks like a book, okay? We're going to bring our piece that we stamped and everything. We're going to go ahead and mount that on this last piece, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. You could do that and let it be drying while you're doing the other part. Whichever way you feel more comfortable with, that's what you do. So let's put this on here, and I'll move it up a little bit. That's why I put enough glue on there to where it gives me wiggle room. Turn it over. Now here's what we're going to do. I'm going to make sure I'm going to turn this over upside down. But I'm going to make sure that it's facing how it will go on this card. Okay, so I'm just flipping and putting this right here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on these 2 panels. And I'm going to center that and glue that down. Actually, I need to trim that just a little bit more on that one side. And make sure that you have it trimmed to where it's going to fit in there after you put all those layers down. So let's see, that was a little trim. I went a little bit more than that. I thought I had it on there a little bit heavier. And if you feel that it's if you like it to fit exactly the same size, you can do that too. But I just wanted to show you can trim them down, which is what I have preferred to. And the ones I have made, I've preferred to just trim that down a little bit. So now, I'm going to make sure again that I have that on the right side, how I want it laid. And then this is going to go on here, okay? It's going to fit right like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on these panels. That panel, I'm having trouble with my panel tonight. I'm going to take my scissors and just trim that panel right there. There was a loose piece hanging there. Didn't like it. So get it off. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this panel. I'm not going to go into that crease. And I'm going to glue this panel, okay? And I want this to adhere to the back of this card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to lay it down. And then I'll move that around a little bit to make sure I have it exactly how I want it. Make sure these open. So anyway, let me press that all down really good because I want that glued really, really well when I go to put that on. I'm going to let that sit there and dry for a second. And I still have a piece of cardstock sticking out that I don't like, and I don't know why. There we go. Okay, we're going to set that aside. We're going to bring in some of our jewels with I got the dark, or the light Bermuda Bay is what I have. And I'm going to color 3 rhinestones. And I'm just going to color them. Now what I've colored them with the big tip, just to make sure I get coverage all over it, and then I'm going to take the little tip and go over it because it tends to make it darker. Okay, we'll set them, and we're going to put our lock on. So our lock is, can you see our lock, how it is? It's kind of like a butterfly. And what we're going to do is we're going to take and just put that on. And it slides very good. Once I get that on, then I take and I make sure I have all these edges really, everything's just smoothed down, so that it stays folded. And then I'm going to take my pick tool and I'm going to add my jewels. And there we go. That is our card tonight. Very simple. You can watch the video over and over if you like doing it to make that mechanism, just to make sure that you get the corners right and stuff. Or you can go over to my Facebook page, Stamp Crazy VIP, and go into the files section. And all the cards are listed in alphabetic order. This is a slide and lock gatefold funfold card. It's actually number 27 in our my funfold series. So I have 27 different funfolds with PDF over on my Facebook group. I do these every Tuesday morning on Facebook Live unless life gets in my way. And then I have to move it on over to do it at a different time. But this has the diagram here. It has all the directions. It has all the supplies, and then the 2 pictures, one with it closed, one with it open. You are more than welcome to go over and get that. If you liked my video, I hope you can give me a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. I would also appreciate it if you would share my video, and if you haven't subscribed to my video, if you would just go down and hit the little bell icon where it says subscribe, and hit that, and You can click on it to get notifications for when I do come on, since it's kind of sporadic. I don't have set days for Facebook or for YouTube videos, so you can get notifications and see when I'm on. I'd appreciate that, and I hope you all have a great evening, morning, afternoon, night, whatever time you're watching this, and just be blessed and be safe. Thank you. Bye.